If you are watching us in Addis Ababa, Kuala Lumpur and London or here in Hargeisa, this is CBA. I am Hamse Daabjeerin. But the first, the news headlines. Somali police killed a suspected Al-Shabaab operative in Mogadishu. Turkey confirms one citizen killed in Mogadishu pumping. Rebels killed dozens of people in DR Congo. Bomb kills 2 French soldiers in Mali. Let's start from Somalia. Suspected Al-Shabaab operative was killed in Mogadishu by the police after he alleged hardly hand grenade attack at security checkpoint. The assailant attempted to flee out, but reports say he was eliminated by a plainclothes police officer. No group has yet claimed responsibility for the attack at the checkpoint. According to sources, the man attacked the checkpoint with a grenade, forcing the soldiers to open fire. The blast happened in the Bakaro area of Halwadak district, where 3 people, including soldiers, were injured. The assailant attempted to flee, but reports say he was eliminated by a plainclothes police officer. No group has yet claimed responsibility for the attack at the checkpoint. The attack comes hours after Al-Shabaab heinous attacks outside Mogadishu killed 4 people, including Turkish nationalists. The attack targeted road construction workers in Hawa Abdi locality along Mogadishu-Afgoye Road. More than 14 others wounded in the blast, whose responsibility was claimed by Al-Shabaab. In 2019, Al-Shabaab suicide bomber had targeted workers at road construction site funded by Qatar in Mogadishu ex-control vicinity. The attack killed over 80 people, including 2 Turkish engineers. Turkey government has confirmed the death of 1 Turkish civilian and injured another one. Ankara on Saturday strongly condemned the attack targeting employees of a Turkish company in Somalia. According to the statement, Turkey government has strongly condemned Saturday's attack in Mogadishu, which killed 1 Turkish national and injured another one. The statement reads that Turkey is saddened to receive the news of the attack with a bomb-laden vehicle against a Turkish company in Somalia. Turkey Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu has extended condolences to the family and friends who lost their loved ones in the attack. The Turkey government also affirmed that this attack will not stop from them supporting Somalia and will maintain in good relations. On Saturday, a suspected suicide bomb hit an area along Mogadishu-Afgoye Road, with initial reports indicated Turkish workers constructing the road were targeted. 4 people have been confirmed dead and several others are feared dead after a bomb went over the road construction site between Mogadishu and Afgoye towns. Al-Shabaab claims responsibility for this attack. As richer countries race to distribute COVID-19 vaccines, Somalia remains the rare place where much of the population hasn't taken the coronavirus seriously.
Dear Regional Director of WHO Eastern Mediterranean Region, regional heads of agencies and colleagues,
as the richer countries race to distribute COVID-19 vaccines, Somalia remains the rare place where much of the population hasn't taken the coronavirus seriously. Some fear that's proven to be deadlier than anyone knows. With part of the country still held by the Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab extremist group, it is places like Somalia that will be the last to see COVID-19 vaccines in any significant quantity. Fewer than 27,000 tests for the virus have been conducted in Somalia, a country of more than 15 million people, one of the lowest rates in the world. Fewer than 4,800 cases have been confirmed, including at least 130 deaths. Some worry the virus will sink into the population as yet another purely diagnosed but deadly fever. For 45-year-old street beggar Hassan Mohamud Yusuf, that fear has turned into near certainty.
In the beginning, we saw this virus as just another form of flu, where some people suffered more than others recovered, and now even some have died, including 3 of my children.
As residents of a makeshift camp for people displaced by conflict or drought, they had no access to the coronavirus testing or proper care. At the same time, Yusuf said the virus hurt his efforts to find money to treat his family, as he quoted, "We cannot get close enough to people to beg." Early in the pandemic, Somalia's government did attempt some measures to limit the spread of the virus by closing all schools and shutting down all domestic and international flights. But social distancing has long disappeared in the country's streets, markets and restaurants. On Thursday, some 30,000 people crammed into a stadium in Mogadishu for a regional football match with no face masks or other antivirus measures in sight. Mosques in the Muslim nation never faced restrictions for fear over the reaction. A more important protective factor is the relative youth of Somalia's people, said Dr. Abdulrahman Abdullahi Abdi Bilal, who works in a clinic in the capital. More than 80% of the country's population is under the age of 30. It is the lack of post-mortem investigations in the country that are allowing the true extent of the virus to go undetected, he said. The next challenge in Somalia is not simply obtaining COVID-19 vaccines, but also persuading the population to accept them. So far, Somalia has reported 4,714 COVID cases, 130 deaths.
9 COVID-19 deaths were reported between December 19, 2020 and early January 2021. The Ministry of Health has announced it while releasing test results of COVID-19 tests done on January 1, 2021. The ministry noted that they had tested samples of those who had passed it on and confirmed it.
The bad news is that everyone is a potential victim.
While releasing test result of COVID-19 test done on January 1st, 2021, the ministry noted they had tested samples of those who had passed on and confirmed. Notable among the deaths registered is that of former Deputy Prime Minister Paul Etiang, who died on Friday. The ministry also announced 201 new cases of COVID-19. Result of COVID-19 test done on January 1st, 2021 confirmed 201 new cases. The cumulative confirmed cases are 35,712, the statement indicated. The breakdown of the new cases are Kampala 134, Mokono 27, Mbali 8, Jinja 6, Wakeso 8, Kalaki 5, Kapchorwa 3, Mbarara 2, Gulu 2, Ibanda 1, Soroti 1, Yumbe 1, Masaka 1 and Luwero 1. One truck driver tested positive for COVID-19 in Malaba.
Nearly 23 truck drivers who came either from Kenya or from Tanzania. Within the country,
Uganda will hold a presidential election between January 10 and February 8, 2021, authorities said on Tuesday. Introducing restrictions, it said, were aimed at slowing the spread of the new coronavirus second wave.
At least 25 people were killed in the troubling Beni region of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Local sources said the incident occurred after the attack attributed to the members of the Ugandan origin armed group, the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF.
Fighters from the Allied Democratic Forces have been blamed for the attack on New Year's Eve that left not less than 25 people dead in the troubled Beni region of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The killings occurred in the village of Tingwe, about 8 kilometers from the town of Eringeti. Local officials said farmers were working in their fields when they were attacked by the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, a militia that has killed hundreds of civilians over the past year. The ADF began in neighboring Uganda in the 1990s. The group has been blamed for killing about 800 civilians last year in North Kivu province, which shares a border with Uganda. The rebel group has never claimed responsibility for attacks. The local affiliate of the extremist Islamic State group has claimed some attacks that were carried out by the ADF, but the relationship between the groups is not clear. The group has been blamed for more than 1,000 civilian deaths in the Beni region of North Kivu province since 2014. It has carried out hundreds of civilian killings since the army launched an offensive against it last year, apparently as reprisals for the operation or to warn locals against collaborating with the army. Kamil Sadiq reporting for CBATV.
According to the Malian authority Modibo Keita, the former Malian Prime Minister has died at 78. His death comes a day after the funeral of Soumaila, an eminent opposition figure in the country.
According to the Malian authority, Modibo Keita, the former Malian Prime Minister, has died at 78. His death comes a day after the funeral of Soumaïla Cissé, an eminent opposition figure in the country. The cause of Modibo Keita's death is unknown, as the Prime Minister did not give cause for his death. Modibo Keita was head of government between 2015 to 2017. He was the third Prime Minister under President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita, who was re-elected in 2018. Modibo Keita took office against a backdrop of deteriorating security following the 2012 independence and jihadist upsurge in northern Mali. In April 2014, until his appointment, he has been the president's high representative for peace talks in Algiers between the government and the Tuareg-led rebel groups in the north. The rebels signed a peace agreement in mid-2015, but jihadist activities continued under the government of Modibo Keita and beyond, spreading to the center of the country and into neighboring Burkina Faso and Niger. The crisis resulted in thousands of civilian and military deaths since 2012. Modibo Keita had previously served as transitional prime minister from March to June 2002 under Alpha Omar Konaré. Initially a school teacher, he held multiple positions in the administration and government of Mali as minister, ambassador, and secretary general at the presidency. Kamil Sadiq, CBATV.
Zimbabwe's government on Saturday imposed a national lockdown following a surge in COVID-19 cases. Only essential services such as hospitals, pharmacies and supermarkets will remain operational for the next 30 days.
We are deeply concerned about the impact COVID-19 could have in Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe's government on Saturday imposed a national lockdown following a surge in COVID-19 cases. Only essential services such as hospitals, pharmacies and supermarkets will remain operational for the next 30 days. The spread of COVID-19 is still a global threat and African nations are doing their efforts to mitigate it. The Zimbabwe government first imposed a nationwide lockdown in March to contain the spread of COVID-19 but had eased most of those measures amid fears of further economic malaise. Vice President and Health Minister Constantino Chiwenga told reporters there had been a huge spike in cases over the festive season, which almost doubled the number of infections recorded throughout the year. Gatherings have been reduced to a maximum of 30 people and a curfew is in place from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. The government says the number of cases recorded over the festive season almost doubled from infections recorded so far this year. COVID-19 cases doubled in 2 months from 8,374 at the start of November 2020 to 14,084 now. A total of 369 virus-related deaths have been recorded in the country since the outbreak of the pandemic.
Said Bouteflika, the brother of former Algerian President Abdelaziz Bouteflika and 3 others have been acquitted by military court for conspiracy against the army and the state. The 4 defendants were arrested in May 2019 and sentenced in September of the same year to 15 years in prison at a trial before the military court of Blida near Algiers. Said Bouteflika, the brother of former Algerian President Abdelaziz Bouteflika, and 3 others have acquitted by military court for conspiracy against the army and the state. Bouteflika and his 3 co-defendants had been sentenced to 15 years in prison. According to judicial sources, he will be transferred to another prison pending trial in other cases relating to corruption during his brother's 20-year rule. Bouteflika was held in a military prison along with General Mohamed Medina and others convicted in this case were acquitted on appeal by military court of Blida. The 4 defendants were arrested in May 2019 and sentenced in September of the same year to 15 years in prison at a trial before the military court of Blida near Algiers, though they pleaded not guilty to the charges. And that is our news bulletin for this time. Thank you very much for being with us. I am Hamse Daabjeerin.